Good evening and welcome to Roundtable. Today we have with us Mr. Chandra Embuldeniya, and he is the Vice Chancellor of the Embuldeniya University, and he has also been the past President of the National Chamber of Commerce. So good evening, Mr. Embuldeniya.
Good evening, Deepamala.
So to start off the discussion, Mr. Embuldeniya, we know that you are actually the only person from the private sector, and so to say the corporate sector, who was invited to actually start a national university from scratch, and then thereafter invited to be also the Vice Chancellor of the same university, the Embuldeniya University. So actually on that note, if we can start the discussion, can you let us know what came to that particular point? Before that, what are your career highlights and the milestones?
I think my pinnacle of my career came when I became the Chairman President of the National Chamber of Commerce in the year 2000. And also I became the Chairman of the Joint Business Forum, as well as the Chairman of the BIMSTEC Business Forum. And also I was the founder Chairman of the BIMSTEC Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Also the founder chairman of the Business Council for Sustainable Development, which are both operational even at this stage with my chairmanship. Now my university career started in 1967, passed out in 71 from Embuldeniya with a specialization in mathematics. Then I continued some postgraduate studies at Embuldeniya, doing a postgraduate diploma in mathematics. Also served in the faculty as an assistant lecturer for about 2 years. Then my professor invited me to go to Jaffna, Professor Kanagasabapathi, when he was appointed dean in the Jaffna University Science Faculty. He wanted somebody to help him in the mathematics department he was setting up there, and I went there with him to Jaffna and was there for some time. Then I came back to Colombo and I joined the survey department as an assistant superintendent of surveys and worked in areas such as Buttala, in Valyamara, in Yala, in real jungle areas, doing various types of surveys, engineering surveys. Got trained very much. That training was also very useful to me later in my life. Then I also quit the survey department to join the Agricultural Development Authority in 1978 and worked right through the country to help in the development of agriculture. I joined as a marketing officer, and then I became an assistant director there. And at that time it was chaired by Mr. Ranjan Wijeratne, and my immediate superior was Dr. Uparinanakara, who was a real inspiration to me to formulate my future vision, at that time. And then I had the opportunity to go overseas, worked in a multinational company called Dubai Aluminium Company that also was starting from scratch, and that experience in the industry was really great because there I was exposed to corporate planning and corporate development, how to begin this company, and then it was a multi-billion-dollar company, and then a lot of high technology, chemical engineering, metallurgy, and various other sciences were involved in there, and a lot of scientists were working on internally to innovate new technology for the business. It was a money-making business. It was it was the largest industry in Dubai. It was producing water for the Dubai consumption, about 25 million gallons at that time, and also generating its own electricity. Like at that time it was more than the whole of our country for that smelter alone. And also it had its own port to import the raw material that we were using in the and I had access to all those and to study them as the corporate plan, and also later working on all the technical projects in the company on development. So one of the projects I did there was working on the fuel efficiency of the massive thermal power stations we had. And for example, if you are able to save 0.1% in the energy efficiency, you can save hundreds of thousands of dollars every day. So one of my tasks was to develop programs, and at that time, microcomputers were not just coming into the market, and we had bigger computers running the automation, but really microcomputers were just coming in. So I really introduced microcomputers in the company, and then computerized the whole organization, giving a computer on each and every manager's desk, every supervisor's desk, every senior manager's desk. So that was a real transformation, and also processing information for day-to-day decision making. And then having worked 10 years there, I gained a lot of experience. And then I shifted to the British Bank of the Middle East, headquarters for the Emirates region in Dubai again. And I worked there as the market research economist. My job was to supply intelligence in the region to the Hong Kong headquarters through the Dubai headquarters office. And that was another exciting experience. Of course, the war broke out at that time, and my children were growing up, so I had to take a very critical decision whether to come back to Sri Lanka or to go overseas and settle down somewhere else. But then I was very fortunate to think like, I must give a social security net of our country, and the feeling of the country to my children. So I chose to come back to Sri Lanka and let them continue with their final stages of education before they entered universities and went away. So I'm thankful, to my friend Mr. Vijayatilaka, who is now the chairman of the Hatton National Bank, who invited me to take up a job in Sri Lanka. So I took up a job as a general manager of one of the subsidiaries, and then later I moved in as a chief executive of a group of companies, and then from there I was working with the National Chamber of Commerce when I was elected chairman of the National Chamber of Commerce, and what I did later on. So of course then I was ready to retire because I was getting engaged in a lot of socially responsible activities, giving a lot of my time, and they invited me to set up a new university.
Yeah, so now that is a crucial point. I think the one reason I also wanted you to explain the experience you've had is to sort of see how one can bring the experience into the picture when coming up with a very different and a new venture like setting up a national university. So Mr. Embuldeniya, do tell us how, why was there a need to start the UOL as a university, and and how did you enter that particular framework?
When I was working with the National Chamber of Commerce, one of the services we rendered to the country was finding jobs for the graduates. Always our employers, the companies, member companies, they used to complain about the weaknesses that they found with the educated in our country, and so there was a feeling that we need to give certain additional qualities, additional attributes to our students who are passing out from the universities, and their attitude was wrong and things like that they were telling. So with all that experience, we were working, and then I had the opportunity to help the University Grants Commission at that time under Professor Ranjit Mendis and a number of people like Professor Senika Bandaranaike, Professor Gunasena Herath, then Professor Carlo Fonseca, and so on. They were really, stalwarts at that time, and they really, they were people who were thinking differently, and so they wanted